Thanks for watching the Paul Farrington Show. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all of the above. And make sure you follow us at Paul Farrington Show on Instagram. Thanks for watching. Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. A tense, dramatic Week 18 of the NFL season is now in the rearview mirror, and we're moving on to the playoffs, Jack. Paul Farrington joined alongside Jack Weinberger, Robert Ziggy Ziegler, who's coming to us from California. Where exactly in California, Ziggy? I'm never quite sure.
Orange County right now, Claremont.
Orange County, Claremont, California.
All the way across the country.
A little different from Virginia.
3,000 miles away.
So Ziggy's from California right now. Zach, the best executive producer in the game, is with us. Zach Bloomquist. Andrew Keenan, not with us today. He's coaching. As you know, that takes a toll. So he's working on, I think, 5-2 or 5-3.
6-3.
6-3. 6-3.
Wow.
Definitely improved.
There might be something to his methods, Paul. If he can take that team to 6-3.
He definitely is. He definitely has turned around. What does he say? The culture of the program, at least the team he has, the JV team,
vast improvement.
Definitely a lot better than week one. You can see is actually having an impact.
Is that team Northern New Jersey's equivalent of the TCU Horned Frogs? They're going to turn around from utterly horrible to national championship caliber in the JV level.
That might be the fairest comparison. We thank you guys for taking your time to listen to us, to talk some football today. Remember, if you're listening, please like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at Paul Farrington Show, TikTok. We've had some good TikToks in the past couple of weeks. We thank you for listening into the conversation, and please join the conversation. If you want, comment on something, text us individually. We'd love to get some listener questions on the show.
DM us.
And look, fans know if they comment on our videos or send us DMs, it gets talked about.
It will get talked about.
100%.
And for anyone taking a listen who might be like, Jack is a single guy, like good looking guy right here, you could slide in however you want into the DMs.
Ladies, I have my personal accounts too. Don't be afraid.
I mean, who doesn't want to slide into the DMs of a degenerate college basketball gambler?
Right.
Like, if you make that your Tinder bio, I mean, the swipes just keep coming.
Who says it already is in my Tinder bio, Ziggy?
Let's start off the Week 18 reaction here with just the best thing that I saw, and I think it was the best thing that you guys saw from this weekend, the Damar Hamlin situation in Buffalo for Nyheim Hines to return the opening kickoff, 96 yards for a touchdown. I love Jim Nance's call, too, when he just said, storybook. And Tony Romo, they did a great job on that call. And we talk about emotional moments a lot in sports, and obviously this is one of the more emotional moments that we've seen, probably ever, at least in pro football for sure. And sometimes when you have all those emotions, the carryover effect, people talk about coming out amped up for Damar Hamlin. Sometimes you see it work the other way, where you're so emotionally built up and invested into a game where you could fall a little flat, or you're the other way, a bit antsy. I thought that the Nyheim Hines kickoff, it was magical, it was needed, and it really helped help Buffalo get over the hump that may have been in front of them and turn a moment there. Remember Ryan Clark said we saw the dark side of football last Monday night? I thought that kickoff return and the reaction and the emotion built up in it showed the other side of football and why we like sports so much, and those moments that really only sports can provide. So just a really cool moment from Week 18.
I love that this was about 26 minutes after Damar Hamlin tweeted, game day, let's go. I'm watching. You saw the picture of him and his family in the hospital, getting ready to watch the game. He has his number 3 shirt on. I love Josh Allen's reaction too. Hands over his head. He's like, you can't, you can't make this up. This is unbelievable stuff. His press conference afterwards was great, and you knew from that very moment that there was no way Buffalo was going to lose that game. As close as the Pats made it.
And the Pats played better than a lot of people expected them to.
100%, yeah. They were in that game, but that was not their game to win. An incredible moment. It really was.
No, and I mean, look, like, you talk about Hall of Fame moments, right? Like a couple years ago was Kendall Hinton subbing in as quarterback for the Denver Broncos. The NFL sometimes likes to memorialize these things. That was a Hall of Fame moment right there. I fully expect them to announce pretty soon that something's opening up in Canton for that. Because, as much, and Paul, you said this really well, as much as like, there was a real moment of despair on Monday. You're praying for this young man who was like living the dream and is suddenly fighting for his life. And these cardiac arrests, your odds are not great, even if you get medical attention immediately. To see that kind of hope shine through, that's a real Hall of Fame moment right there.
And Jack, you're totally right too, talking about Josh Allen in the press conference, and I think Tre'Davious White was also had a presser afterwards. And my mom was saying to me, she's like, you can still see these guys were still traumatized, like they're still getting over it, and for good reason. Like they actually saw their teammate die on the field. Like Damar Hamlin was dead on the field. Yeah. And it really is like it's understandable why these guys. Josh Allen was crying after the game. I think, what did he say, Ziggy? I think he said it was God is real. Like,
it was
that
3 months.
His reaction.
It was 3 years and 3 months to date since the Bills' last kickoff return touchdown before Nyheim Hines.
Yeah,
which was pretty remarkable stuff.
Weird how things like that happen, right? But that was my favorite moment from the weekend, and I thought that was a great way to kick off the show. A much happier tone.
As a Steelers fan too, it was great to see Buffalo up 7-0 early.
Yeah, and Zach was also probably pretty happy.
You're probably pretty pumped too, right?
No, just a very, very cool moment to start off Week 18. And then the last game of Week 18, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And you know what's kind of weird, and I think a lot of, Ziggy, you'll be mad at me. Vikings fans will also be mad. I don't feel bad for the Packers. I do not feel bad for the Packers, okay? I have a lot of friends.
Why?
Oh, because
okay,
I can't stand Green Bay. But what's so frustrating about them is that Packers fans, I really like them. I think they're really nice. Some of my best friends in the world are Packers fans, and I do feel bad for them a little bit. And I do enjoy watching Aaron Rodgers play. So I wasn't rooting for the Packers on Sunday night. I thought maybe they had a better chance to beat San Francisco than Seattle did, but that wasn't enough to sway me over to cheering for them, because I just don't think you can do that. So I was a little conflicted last night after the games ended, where I was like, maybe it would have been better to have them in, but ultimately I think it's better to just never mess around with Aaron Rodgers. But he became the storyline. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you can really tell, like, things have changed in Green Bay quite a bit. Because, we've seen this story a million times, right? The Lions score a touchdown, but they leave like 4.5 minutes on the board. Aaron Rodgers is getting the ball down 20-16, and you know exactly how this ends, Paul.
Did you?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers takes exactly the right amount of time. He scores a touchdown with like 20 seconds left, no time for Jared Goff to recover, and the Packers win the game. Instead, 5 plays later, he throws an interception, drives over, Lions handily win the game.
Well,
I mean, it makes sense of
how uncharacteristic of Detroit too, to then go on a game-winning drive, essentially running out the clock. So we saw a different Detroit Lions team and a different Green Bay Packers. Let's hit on the Packers first, then we'll get to Dan Campbell and the Lions, because we were talking before the show of how impressive that performance was. From an Aaron Rodgers perspective, he's walking off the field with Randall Cobb after the game. Ziggy, you didn't think it was very telling of anything for the future. Jack and I both feel like with the way he walked off with Cobb, denying the jersey,
I'm mixed.
It just had a bizarre feeling to me.
A part of me thinks that he's doing this to get people talking, to get people wondering. I think it's all part of a big show, and then he has no idea. I don't think he has any idea what's going to happen next.
I don't think he has any idea yet, but it was just the vibe was strange after the game.
Yeah, it was, walking off, arm around the shoulder with Randall Cobb, telling Jameson Williams to hold on to my jersey. But I think it's to get people talking. The
press conference,
reporters talking. I think he wants the attention. I don't think Aaron Rodgers knows what his next move is.
Go ahead, Ziggy.
Look, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. We saw after last season, Aaron Rodgers after that playoff game. It was exactly the same story. He walks off feeling really sad. He's talking sentimental about how much he loves the stadium, how much he loves the fans, how much he loves his teammates. Because of this big retirement drama. And like we said on the show, Aaron Rodgers is coming back as long as he can play football well. Look, this season was injured. Aaron Rodgers is a proud man. I cannot imagine he wants his last play in the NFL to be an interception that cost the team a game. Have you ever seen an NFL player more concerned about not throwing interceptions than Aaron Rodgers? Ever? Like, look, that's just not who this guy is, right? He can still play high-level football. The Packers are going to improve next year. I can't see him leaving quite like this.
Well,
no matter how sentimental he sounds.
Get him Jordan Addison, get him Jackson Benjigba, and he's fine.
Well, let's talk about from a Packer perspective, because I've been really curious all day and interested in hearing how Packers fans are reacting to last night. And they're fed up. They're upset because their season, it's ended in a pretty disappointing fashion most years over the past 12 years, and especially the last 3. Well, who'd they have? San Francisco last year was a bad loss. Tampa Bay the year before that. The expectations are always sky high in Green Bay, and they keep coming up short time and time again at home, too, on top of that.
It was crazy to watch the Seahawks kick the game-winning field goal, and then knowing the Packers, the Lions are out after that,
yeah.
And the Packers are playing at home in Lambeau on Sunday night for a playoff berth, and they lose outright, was a little surprising. The other side of the coin, though, is like, a small part of me is like, you know what? This line went from 4.5 to 6, right when Seattle won. But Detroit, to me, whether playing for a playoff spot or not, was going to come out and want to beat Green Bay and keep them out. The motivation was definitely there for the Lions, regardless.
So the Packers was just shocking.
But it was just, I was shocked to see them lose at home Sunday Night Football for a chance to go to the playoffs to a team that beat them once already. Surprising.
Frankly, the Lions looked more motivated for that game than the Packers.
Yeah,
I wonder,
not even close.
But I think that's part of the reason
why
so many Packers fans now are saying we're ready to move on. Like they think that give Jordan Love his chance next season. We've seen this story with Rodgers time and time again where he really doesn't show up in the big moments when you need a superstar who you're paying $50 million to show up. And I actually disagree. With most of the national media, too, they're all saying move on if you're Green Bay. I think this is Aaron Rodgers we're talking about. And I look at the NFC next season. Who in the NFC is that scary? San Francisco will be good again, probably. But then,
if Brock Purdy can play well.
But yeah, there's still a big question mark with San Fran. We're talking about a Dallas team that Green Bay beat this season, a Minnesota team that they just walloped.
I mean, the Packers will go into next year as the favorite to win the NFC North if Rodgers is there.
Quite possibly. In Philadelphia, I could see regression there. Tom Brady probably won't be back with the Bucs. Like, the NFC is very wide open. And if you're the Packers, you fix a couple holes here and there, and all of a sudden you have a very good chance of coming out with the NFC North and maybe even an NFC title. It's tough to rebuild. You had one season of it, Jack. One season of rebuilding, and those first 4 games sucked.
Oh, we had this was a rebuilding year, and the Jets scoring 10 points away from going to the playoffs.
Oh no, I know. The Steelers had it better than most, but like you see what happens. Look at New England right now.
I mean, if Pickett starts in week 1 and Watt's healthy, we're a 12-win team.
Yes, but you've seen those first 4 weeks how tough a rebuild can be. And for all those Packers fans who want to go to Jordan Love right now and be done with Aaron Rodgers, I don't think they understand just how difficult it can be to watch your team when you don't have a starting quarterback.
And look, it's not like Jordan Love has showed us anything that suggests he's going to be anything like the caliber of Rodgers or Favre, right? Like, in many ways, it's miraculous that they got the transition they did between Favre and Rodgers. It's just unlikely to happen again. And I think they're expecting it, right? Oh, we drafted Love. He sat for 4 years. He's going to come out and play super well. Love has played like 3 games of competitive football in the past 5 years.
And he's looked good in, the Philadelphia game this year? He looked okay.
Yeah, it's moving on from Aaron Rodgers, who we know was hurt. Don't get me wrong. Aaron Rodgers looked bad, but he had that broken thumb in his throwing hands. The chances of them finding a better quarterback are low, and they've got a competitive team built to win now, or at least it should be.
Go ahead, Jack.
Question. How many games did, and I'm sure Ziggy knows this, but I have no idea. How many games did Rodgers play while behind Brett Favre? Did he play any?
I don't know how many games. I think he came into a Dallas game was the first time we ever saw him play. I don't know.
I would find it interesting because it'd be the same thing as Jordan Love, right? If Jordan Love doesn't play.
Oh, yeah. So it's a similar enough situation, but the Aaron Rodgers thing succeeding was so improbable.
Oh, yeah.
That you can't count on it happening again.
I mean, I've said all year on this podcast that to be a successful team in the National Football League right now, outside of having a good defense, is a top-level weapon that the Packers did not have. Look at the top 3 seeds right now in both.
Wait, but Jack, you know what? Towards the end of the season,
Justin
when they
Jefferson.
came on, when they came on at the end of the season,
Christian Watt's not. He's
not top level, but he was playing like an elite receiver.
I think if you get Aaron Rodgers, you obviously he's great.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
If you draft him, Addison or Smith and Jigba, and then you have one of those guys,
or Watson
you
takes
have
a step
Watson.
up.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Look at the top 3 seeds in each the AFC and NFC right now. Diggs, Kelsey, Jamar, Justin Jefferson,
AJ Brown.
Debo, AJ Brown. Yeah, Green Bay does not have that.
No, and they need that. I do think that they're able to get a bit.
I don't
It's
care.
hard to get a superstar like that, but if you can just find a couple more weapons there, I don't think this team is that far off.
If Rodgers has Watson and Jordan Addison, I think that he's phenomenal.
Zach and I were talking about a possibility where he could find his way to Miami, which again would take a lot of maneuvering. It would be absurdly difficult. But imagine him with like Tyreek
that's
Hill
my
and Jaylen
Super Bowl
Waddle.
pick of Rodgers and the Dolphins. They're the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
No, we're just stirring the pot a little bit.
But
here
I don't
with
care
stuff
how
like
good
that.
Rodgers is.
He can still play.
He can still play. I don't care how good he is. He needs a top level target like every other quarterback in the world.
So all of us here are in agreement that
Brady had Gronk.
if Aaron Rodgers says he wants to come back to Green Bay, we're keeping him for the Packers.
If he wants to come back, yes.
Unless you can get some ridiculous return, right? So if somebody comes up, like some bottom feeder, and says, we're going to offer you 2 or 3 first-round picks, okay, now you think about moving him, right? But nobody's doing that. Aaron Rodgers wants to win next season.
Look,
you got to keep him around.
And it's hard to move on from someone like Aaron Rodgers. So the people who want to go, like who are ready to go on to Jordan Love, I understand that they're frustrated. It's just you really have to have a lot of faith in Jordan Love to make that move because if he doesn't pan out, it could take a while. It could take a long time to be competitive again. And Aaron Rodgers, guys like him don't just come walking through the door. So like the way he did, it does not happen very often.
And let's not forget, Aaron Rodgers went 6-10 in his first season starting in Green Bay. Do you think if Jordan Love goes 6-10 next season, fans are going to say, all right, we can sign him to another contract. Let's be patient.
It's a different
it
NFL.
takes these guys a lot of time. No, you got to win when you come in.
I honestly do not think that this current Green Bay Packers roster is all that good. And if you replace Rodgers with Jordan Love, I think that team maybe goes 4-13.
Yes.
So if Rodgers wants to come back, you let him come back.
But you need to build a little bit more,
and then
around
draft
him.
a receiver.
But if you build around him, the team could be. You're right, though, Ziggy. It's a different league from when Rodgers was a rookie. That's when you generally had 3 seasons as a starting quarterback to prove yourself. Now, if you have one bad year, you're gone. Like a rookie, Zach Wilson, he's in the middle of a year and a half he got, and the leash was cut. Probably for good reason.
I also still think if Wilson had AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, he'd be good.
Maybe. But, we talked a lot about the Packers. I do want to say, I want to give a lot of credit to the Lions for this game. People have talked about Dan Campbell. He has this persona, right? He's the kneecap biting coach who comes out and wins with brute force. But he is a smart coach. One moment that really stood out for that game, it was 2nd and 1. The Packers, maybe intentionally, maybe not, took a neutral zone infraction penalty. And I've never seen a coach do this before. He declined it because he figured they'd have a better chance running out the clock without it. That's one of those things you can't think about in the moment. You have to just you have to have thought about it ahead of time and be really thinking through these decisions. He's got a team that's playing for him, right? In a completely meaningless game, they come out and look a lot better than a team that's trying to get a playoff spot. The offense is great. The defense is slowly improving. These don't seem like the same old Lions to me, Paul.
No, they
don't. Seem like a team that could
don't.
Next year be competing for the division. And Jared Goff could be the quarterback that takes them.
I think there's a better. Well, again, like I said earlier in the show, in this episode, that the Lions, they wanted to keep Green Bay out just as bad as they care to go to the playoffs.
I disagree.
I think if I was wrong here, the Lions would have lost that game Sunday.
No, I think that the culture Dan Campbell's built there, it's really a testament to Dan Campbell, who, again, people make fun of him a lot for crying in his press conferences, but the guy cares, and he's built a culture where they want to win football games. And I just disagree that Detroit wants to make the playoffs.
This was never a meaningless game for them. Regardless.
That's what I agree with. It was never meaningless. At the end of the day, they were able to have a winning season for the first time in quite some time now. And I really do think that it's a testament to Campbell's culture that he's building.
They've spent years and years getting mauled by Green Bay.
Yes. Yes.
I think that if the Lions were playing Minnesota or Chicago and had a chance to keep them out of the playoffs, they would not have shown up as hard as they did to keep Green Bay out.
I think they still play tough, but no, it does mean something to beat Green Bay for them. I do disagree, though. I think that Dan Campbell would have that team up for any game. But it was surprising to me.
That wasn't meaningless at all.
Yeah, it was surprising
even when
to
Seattle
me.
won.
The fire that Detroit had. Do you remember the 4th down stop on? I think it was Lazard on a. They ran him on a what was it, an end around, or it was just a what play was it? 4th and 2 in 3rd quarter maybe, or 2nd quarter. I can't remember what it was, but Detroit or Green Bay went for it on like the 30 or 35 yard line, and Detroit made the stop, and the guys were just freaking out. And I looked at my dad and I was saying, "Wow, like I can't believe how intense they are for a game that means nothing."
They were all waving goodbye at the end of the game.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, Jamal Williams, Zach and I were talking about him on the way over here. He's a great person to have in that locker room. Combine him with Campbell. It was crazy to see in a game that meant everything to the Packers and nothing to the Lions, that the Lions outplayed, outcoached, and outhearted.
The Lions wanted to win this game more than the Packers wanted to go to the playoffs.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah, that's what I got from this.
That's what it looked like.
I think the Lions, too, would have had a better chance. You know I'm a Seahawks guy.
Yeah.
But I think the Lions would have had a better chance to go into San Francisco and win that game than Seattle does. Like the Lions, to me, are better than the Seahawks.
I agree.
I think the Steelers are better than the Dolphins. And both teams who didn't make it deserve to make it.
Ziggy, do you have any final thoughts on Detroit?
If they can hit in this draft, I think there's this is my hot take. This will get me in trouble. I think even if Rodgers comes back, there's a chance the Packers finish 4th in this division next year. We're seeing a lot of teams that look like they're on the way up. The Lions look like they're on their way up. The Bears look like they're on the way up. I don't know. I think we're going to be looking at a very different NFC
I don't
North.
see the Bears going from 3 wins to anything special.
There is nowhere to go but up for Chicago. They are literally the worst team in the league.
Yeah, you would think.
I think they win 6 or 7 games next year, and I'm not sure Green Bay gets there.
No,
we can revisit this. Jack, you had your crazy Seattle Seahawks prediction.
Yeah, let's congratulate Jack real quick.
Sure, we'll revisit this. I have it in my.
We have a reel, right?
We do have a clip. I said I'm buying Geno Smith. Got a chip on his shoulder. He's going to play well, and I'm buying the Seattle Seahawks. Are better than people think.
Yeah, no one believed you.
Andrew,
I think I was the #1 hater of that.
Ziggy was a hater. Andrew was calling me a lunatic.
I was a big hater.
He looked
too.
at me like I was nuts. I'm like, just watch, guys. Like,
I still think you might have been.
Geno is better than people think.
Geno
the Seahawks
wins.
team has some talent. Geno wins. He was hungry this year. Played well. Got his team to the playoffs.
Geno Smith might be in. Geno Smith might be in line for the single highest number raise for an NFL player in like the history of the NFL, because he could very well be getting a $30+ million raise next year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Seattle limped into the playoffs.
And again, hold on. You know why? You know why Geno was solid? Because
He's got that dog in
good
him.
Receivers. He does have that dog in him. He does have that dog in him.
Wasn't
like I think? Hold on. I think if you give Zach Wilson DK Metcalf, he's fine.
Jack, you gotta stop.
I do agree with Andrew. Andrew always talks about Garrett Wilson
Yeah, I was
being
gonna say,
a
they
great
didn't have,
receiver.
terrible wide receivers this year.
I think Zach Wilson's just a bad player, man.
I'm trying to do the best I can to defend him. Maybe I'm just wrong.
But congratulations on the Seahawks take. I think they got mocked by the 49ers. But again, no one was sitting here week 1 except you.
Oh no, I said I am buying the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah. I want that posted on our account as real. Week 1 to week 18.
Real quick before we move on to congratulating Zach on the Dolphins, do you guys think Seattle, and we'll get into this a little bit more in the playoff preview show, do you think Seattle has any chance in San Francisco?
Oh, sure, they've got a chance. Anyone's got a chance in the NFL playoffs. But if by a chance you mean more than like 5 or 10%, I think they've got about the same chance TCU has of winning tonight.
Would you hit the spread if the spread was 13.5? Would
it's
you
10.
No, if it was all right, if it was 13.5, would you take San Francisco or Seattle?
I think San Fran runs them out of the building, but I am skeptical of a 22-year-old rookie quarterback making his first ever playoff start.
He's looked unflappable throughout much of the season.
He has, but divisional game.
Dude, I love that. I would love that.
I'm iffy to lay 10 points.
That's exactly what you said. If we went back, I think 15 weeks to when Seattle played San Francisco in week 2, Jack said that exact line. I think you said I'm iffy to lay 10 points.
And they won by 30.
to Trey Lance. Yeah, yes.
Oh, but that was the second game of the season. This is now playoff Seattle.
This is a much better San Francisco team too.
It's a much better Seattle team also.
I think it's a worse Seattle team.
No, Seattle has gotten seemingly worse as the season's gone on. And let's
No, they haven't.
not forget when you yeah, they have.
No, they've
Geno
not.
Smith has fallen off a cliff.
Geno was an MVP
not at
candidate.
all.
Let me air quote that. An MVP candidate for the first 5 weeks, and they really did limp into the playoffs.
No, they didn't. They've looked good the last couple
They
of weeks.
barely beat.
They
beat
mauled
up
the Jets as a dog.
and they barely beat Baker and the Rams.
They also beat the Giants with double digits.
Sorry, since when is 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions a great game?
He won. Geno wins.
Wow, it is the exact same conversation we had 15 weeks ago.
Keep doubting me with my Seahawks predictions. Keep doubting me.
I will keep, because here's the thing is you can talk all you want about playoff Seattle, but playoff Seattle only exists in Seattle.
They also beat everyone's precious Lions on the road. That's a good team.
They did. That was a great win, and that ultimately wound up being.
I don't want to hear
decider.
crap about my Seahawks picks.
Seahawks. All right, Zach, congratulations to the Dolphins. Oh, you have something to say?
Yeah, I just need Jack to move over slightly to your left.
Look at this. It's live producing. Left or right?
Left. Or I guess you're right.
You're right.
Thanks, Zach.
There you go.
Come on, how's that? How's the shot?
Now we're better.
So Zach, again, congratulations. Well, first off, thanks on some excellent producing right there. That was very well done.
I can't clap. Hold my mic up with my left hand.
The Dolphins, they sneak in. One of the most boring games you could ever watch was an 11-6.
That's what everybody expected.
It was
right?
it was exciting for guys like me and Zach.
Yeah. No, it wasn't even exciting for me because I knew what was exactly going to happen.
Yeah. The Jets are tough, man. That is a good luck to Andrew next season. They need to find a quarterback badly. But the Dolphins.
When was the last time we saw 2 third stringers going at it?
I don't know.
Like a playoff elimination game.
Yeah. That's what I was also thinking about that game was. There's a lot on the line. It's Flacco versus Skylar Thompson. That is.
And they put up a random stat too. Like it was like when 2 number 19 quarterbacks faced each other, it was like Joe Montana and like some random guy from the Dolphins, and he ended up beating Joe Montana when he was on the Chiefs. I was like, what is that stat?
Yeah.
Why is that a stat?
Who gets paid? I have to wonder. I imagine there's some intern sitting in the back that's just like constantly reading, they're memorizing box scores for these kinds of things.
From 2 guys who work in sports, that is exactly what's going on. There's some intern who people are telling like, "Hey, find us some fun stat." And he's flipping through the
stupid nonsense.
Yeah, and he's scrolling through the internet just like one. Yeah, it's you are 100% right on that. We won't talk too much about the Dolphins-Bills game, but with all signs pointing towards Skylar Thompson making another start. I'm not sure the stats of Teddy Bridgewater, and I'm quite confident Tua will not be playing in this game. It's an uphill battle for your Dolphins, but nonetheless.
You want to hear something crazy, Paul?
Yeah.
The spread for this game is smaller than the spread for the Seahawks 49ers game. That is how little people believe in the Seahawks.
I think Buffalo is going to destroy the.
Isn't that a disgrace? Isn't that a disgrace to the Seahawks?
That is. No, that is.
Oh, the other Seahawks play the Niners again, and it was a 1-score game.
Zach and I were talking about this as well in the car. We were saying it's sad for the Dolphins because the past 2 times now they've made the playoffs. They've had a backup have to play.
This is just.
Do you remember the Matt Moore? You were there, right?
Yeah, I was there when Dupree. I thought Dupree killed him.
Well, yeah, but the fact is the Dolphins are now going to have what a 3rd-string quarterback playing 2 straight playoff
I'm telling
games?
you that the Bills are very glad that they're not playing the Steelers and they're playing the Dolphins with the backup quarterback.
Oh, I'd agree. With Tua, I think the Dolphins.
I still think the Bills would demolish you. I bet you anything Damar Hamlin's at this game. He just got discharged.
Oh, look, no. The Bills, they're going to win the Super Bowl. They would have demolished us.
Hold on. You're changing your tune? Team of Destiny?
Yes, I am.
So
I think you'll make it, but I think you'll lose.
Vikings Bills.
Yeah.
I think the Earth would end if
I think the
Vikings
Team of Destiny
Bills.
changed.
Yeah, I think the team. Yeah,
You ever seen those web comics where it's like you got buttered toast on one side and then a cat on the other, and it's like perpetually spinning?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it'll be like if the Vikings and the Bills play each other in the Super Bowl, because neither of these teams can win in a Super Bowl, right? Like it's just destined. You're going to see all kinds of madness. It's going to end at the heat death of the universe.
I actually think the Vikings are much more cursed than the Bills. The Bills just had a very, very bad 4-year
they
stretch.
never made it, the Vikings, right?
No, what the hell are you talking about?
Oh, no, the Steelers beat us,
What?
right?
We've lost 4 Super Bowls. We have the worst 4-year stretch in the history of the NFL.
Okay, the Bills lost 4 in a row. That's much worse.
We have quite possibly the worst 4-year stretch in NFL history.
4 in a row is much worse.
The Vikings lost. Listen to this. The Vikings lost 3 out of 4.
Yeah, we beat you.
3 out of 4 years they lost the Super Bowl, and the one year they didn't was against the Dallas Cowboys in the divisional round. They were the 1 seed. Fran Tarkenton said the best team he ever played on. On the play, the Hail Mary was invented in that game. So the Vikings lost Super Bowl, Hail Mary, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. Right up there with Buffalo. No one talks about that 4-year stretch, though. But
4 bowls in a row.
It sucks, but 3 out of 4 in the Hail Mary, that's
No, I think
the Hail Mary.
No, I think 4 bowls in a row is tough.
Oh, yeah. You're probably right.
But we're not denying that it's tough.
I'm just saying.
My point is just like
worse than the Vikings.
Yeah, but the Bills, they generally just stink. I can't recall over my lifetime too much Bills heartbreak before last season. Like, there hasn't been too much.
I mean, they were like bad. That's
They just
why. There was no
stunk.
heartbreak.
It was like the Browns. They were horrible.
There was no heartbreak really. They just stunk.
So I think
it's a different kind of heartbreak.
Yeah, I think the Bills are capable of winning a Super Bowl. I'm not sure the Vikings are. I think like the Bills get there and choke. It's like I don't think it's
Can we just read a text from Michael?
Yeah, please.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
What do you say?
So this is
The jinx is on.
the national. It's not quite a jinx. It's just a very funny statement.
No.
The championship is on right now, and George is currently mauling TCU. It's 24-7, and Michael texts. He goes, "TCU needs points, or this will get a lot worse than it is now."
Oh, why couldn't he just say it? Why couldn't he just say the line?
And then he goes, "Well, obviously."
Wait, hold on.
I mean, that was some fun.
Yeah, his brilliant claim is that when you're down 24-7, you need to score points or you won't win.
Down 17, he goes, "Man, TCU needs points. This will get worse than it is now." Obviously.
I mean, to be fair, that's not true. Maybe George doesn't score for the rest of the game.
Well, they got 24 points. So
Well, then
obviously
TCU still needs points, though, if they're going to win.
Yeah, but it won't get any worse.
That is true. They stay the same, yeah.
All right, we have just a couple more topics here, and then we'll wrap it up. Jack, I wanted to give you an opportunity to express your thoughts on the Steelers season because it's been a roller coaster. At times, you guys looked like one of the worst teams in the NFL, and then by the end of the season, I actually think the Steelers were playing playoff football.
Oh, I mean, we finished the year 6-1, hottest team in the league next to the Lions, and 2-6, right? 2-6, but it was 2-6 with no TJ Watt. We were 8-2 with TJ Watt, so we had no TJ Watt for 5 weeks. Mitch was atrocious.
Who could have seen that coming?
We bring Kenny Pickett in. His development has been fantastic. Wonderful thing to see. I think he's the guy. I think Pickens is an elite wide receiver 1. Johnson good, solid. Defense is great.
You had me until Pickens.
If they play this entire season with a healthy TJ Watt and you start Pickett from week 1, like you were saying, I disagree, but you turned out to be right in hindsight. If your better quarterback, who is Pickett, starts week 1, TJ Watt's healthy all year, this team's in the playoffs. So overall, yes. I am quite happy and pleased with finishing 9-8. Despite being 2-6, looking like everything's in the dumps, to come back, finish the year 6-1. Defense was great. Watt was great. Pickett was great. Sucks come up short, but if you told me that when we were 2-6, we'd come down to the last week of the season, and if the Jets needed 10 points, we're in the playoffs, I would have signed up for it. So I'm looking forward to next year. I think that, we get some bright spots, and I'm excited.
Bless you, Ziggy. Do you think it's fair to say, Jack, that going into next season, the Steelers should be the second place favorite in the AFC North?
Yeah, I'd say it's Bengals Steelers.
Yeah.
I think it depends.
You know what?
Depends on Lamar.
No, it depends on whether they keep Matt Canada.
Oh.
I mean,
Steelers fans are assuming he's gone, but Tomlin says it's a tough decision. Steelers player after Steelers player is coming out publicly and saying, we want Canada to stick around. The offense improved. We think he's a really great coach. Right? Kevin Dotson and Najee Harris both told the media that they really want him to stay. Steelers fans have to be considering the possibility of a Canada run offense next year.
I mean, the last 2 game-winning drives against the Raiders and the Ravens, Pickett called his own plays.
Jack,
you watched.
Can you just explain to people listening who might not be aware of who Matt Canada is and why Steelers fans are upset with him?
He's the Steelers' offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. And you see time and time again, we're one of the only teams in the NFL who will have a 3rd and 4, and we'll throw a slant 3 yards shy of the first down marker. We'll have a 2nd and 11, and we'll do a pitch behind the line and get stuffed for 3 yards, 3rd and 14. And it's just that there's good weapons. Deontay's there, Pickens is there, Freiermuth is there, and a lot of times you don't see Pickett when he's passing the ball well. We put the cuffs on him and we'll hand the ball off and get stuck behind our bad O-line. Like you saw it time and time again. Pickett against the Dolphins this year, driving. Dolphins couldn't stop him when he was throwing the ball. A lot of teams couldn't. He looked great. And then we take the ball out of his hands and we run the ball behind no offensive line, stuff, 2nd and 9, 3rd and 8, incomplete pass. So I think when Pickett is freed up, he's able to throw the ball, and we're doing what is successful at the time. We're a good football team, tough to beat. Running the ball well, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Throwing the ball well, keep doing it. We mix it up and just run stupid plays under this guy. And we've seen Pickett win the game twice, calling his own plays in the final possession.
You think he likes Matt Canada, Ziggy?
I don't know. The fact he hasn't come out and said anything is telling. But look, if a lot of Steelers players are putting public pressure to keep Canada, Tomlin seems to really like and respect Canada. And man, the offense sure did improve going in the second half of the season, and there are reasons that you can give for that.
I think the reason
you got to think there's a chance he sticks around.
I think it would be likely.
I think the offensive improvement second half of the season is Pickett. I thought Pickett was really, really good and developed great the last half of the season.
He took some big steps forward.
Yeah, huge steps forward. I'd go as far to say, I know a lot of the other Steelers fans agree, that he's the guy. You can tell watching him play, he has what it takes to be a quarterback in the NFL.
I'm just thinking back to, I don't know why it's sticking out, maybe because I watched it with you, but the Dolphins game when Pickett, I'm trying to remember, he struggled a little bit in that game, right?
Yes.
Against Miami?
Yes.
Or was that the game?
No, not really.
Was that the game where Tua should have thrown like
Tua sucked.
Tua was horrible that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember
Hold on, guys.
Concussion.
I don't remember Kenny being super impressive in that game, but towards the end of the season,
the final quarter, he had 2 straight drives down the field. We were losing. He already threw 2 late picks, rookie picks. Okay. But a lot of time, like I'm saying with my issue with Matt Canada is like when we're doing things well, right? Like we're throwing the ball well. Like Pickett's hitting Pickens and Johnson. Like our receivers are playing well. We just stop doing it.
Pickett was 32 for 44, 257 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions that game.
Yeah, but look, like 2 of those picks were after he drove and just made a bad mistake.
Yeah.
Like that, he didn't have
He's gotten a lot better.
It's the kind of stuff that'll get better.
Right, yeah, exactly. And we saw him get a whole lot better as the season went on. Like, I think it's clear he has what it takes to be a quarterback in the NFL. Clear as day.
I don't think so. His hand size is 8.6 inches.
You know what else is 8.6 inches? His dick.
All right. Well, let's move on from this one.
Yeah.
I move on. But no, overall...
Sports Grid is just drooling to get us on.
Overall, after being 2-6, quarterback carousel, Mitch sucking, Watt hurt, the fact we were 9-8, playing meaningful football in Week 18, I'm happy.
That's fair. And like
I can't wait to watch the Dolphins get murked by Buffalo.
I mean, you can't have anything against Skylar Thompson got it. You have beef with the Jets, not the Dolphins.
It's really it's Flacco's revenge.
Dolphins scored 9 games.
Flacco's always screwed us.
All right. Before we wrap up, Ziggy, let you have your moment. You wanted to shout out Lovie Smith, and then we can get out of here.
Look, my boy Live Laugh Lovie. In this case, Lovie laughs last.
Triple
because the Texans abused this poor man. They bring him in. It's a time of some animus in the NFL. They bring in Lovie Smith and they say, all right, the team is yours. It could not be more obvious to anyone outside of the NFL that what Lovie Smith is there for is a 1-year bridge contract until they can bring in the guy they really want. And Lovie Smith, he's almost sealed the job, right? They're right in the line for the number 1 pick. All they have to do is lose to the Colts. Now, admittedly, that's a tough task, right? Jeff Saturday, he won that first Raiders game. All of us said on the show, this is probably going to be his only win. Turned out that was his only one, but all you got to do is lose to Jeff Saturday and the Colts. Classic tank job. And Lovie Smith, you can see us at the end. It's 28-27. Texans have just scored a touchdown. They need to decide whether to play for the tie, kick the field goal, or kick the extra point, or else go for 2. And Lovie Smith is trying to suppress this absolute grin on his face as he brings the boys out for a 2-point conversion, calls a brilliant play, scores the 2-point conversion. Texans lose the number 1 overall pick to the Bears. And this man on the inside, you can just tell from watching him, he is celebrating. Hallelujah. He got revenge on the Texans after they did a royal screw job on him.
And that can be really, really important come April.
Oh, wait a minute.
Look, if anybody remembers
that Lovie was the old Bears head coach.
He was a coach of the Bears. This was an inside Bears sleeper
that
cell.
Together. Oh, wow.
Yeah, a little conspiracy theory here on the Paul Farrington show.
Here's the thing, though.
No, but
well, I don't think it matters because the Texans want a quarterback. The Bears.
No, but a team could trade up with the Bears.
But the Bears are probably going to trade back. So whoever jumps up to that number 1 spot, if they take the guy that Houston wants,
the Bears will take Will Anderson. You don't think?
I don't think so. I think the Bears can.
The Bears can move down to 3 and take Will Anderson. They can move down to 4 and probably take Will Anderson. Like there are options for them.
Yeah.
But like, look, in case anybody doubts the power, the difference between number 1 and number 2. I get this draft's a little bit different. There's no clear-cut number 1 quarterback prospect. Set that aside. Imagine if the Jets had Trevor Lawrence right now instead of Zach Wilson. That is how much the difference between 1 and 2 can matter. Imagine if you get Peyton Manning instead of Ryan Leaf. Like there are times when the difference between the number 1 and number 2 pick makes an enormous difference. And the Texans lost it because they screwed over my boy Lovie Smith. So congratulations to Lovie Smith. Congratulations to the Bears. I hate the Texans, so congratulations to them for screwing over yet another coach, Cal McNair.
Oh, man. I would have been so mad if I were I tweeted out, I think I even said, I would be furious if I were a Texans fan right now.
That's horrible.
Absolutely furious. And the Jets, I think the year the Jets wound up with Wilson, weren't they 0-14 and they won the last 2 games?
Yup.
Yeah, that's so bad.
And people talked about how they were building momentum under Adam Gase. How did that turn out?
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Yeah, please.
You know, if the Steelers play the Ravens this year at home, lost by 2, you know, if they had won that game, we are currently the 5 seed playing Jacksonville.
No, you were right about the Steelers. Probably starting in like week 9 or so when you said that they're starting to turn it around. They're playoff. They're a playoff caliber team right now. They're a wild card team.
And hey, you know, with a strong defense and a competent quarterback with good receivers, you never know.
I think you were right in some ways comparing them a bit to Detroit, where they probably should. Like Detroit should be the 7 right now. They're the 7th best team in the NFC. I think the Steelers are probably the 7th best team, maybe even better. I mean, with no Lamar, they're absolutely better than the Ravens. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
I read
good
momentum. Yeah, I read an absolutely ridiculous piece this morning by a Steelers beat writer talking about how great it was the Steelers didn't make the playoffs because Pickett's confidence would have been destroyed by Josh Allen and the Bills.
So dumb.
No, that's ridiculous.
Who comes up with this stuff, man? Look, if you can make the playoffs, get an extra week of practicing, get some experience in a big-time game, honestly get the experience of getting absolutely obliterated.
Experience
that stuff's
matters.
good for you.
If you're 2-6, if you're Kenny Pickett, your team's 2-6, you come in, take them to the playoffs.
No, you 100% want experience. Remember, that was the main point in our. We talked about the Bengals a lot, as we should have during their playoff run last season. And the big point that we kept bringing up, Ziggy, I know you kept picking them, but Jack and I, we said a lot. The problem with them was they had no experience. That they were kind of just. It was the problem, and also part of the. I think part of the. Their run was that they were just kind of going out there and playing games and not realizing how big the moment was, or how precious, it might be a better word, the moment was. But it helps. Now coming into this season, the Bengals are not just like a kid anymore. They're grown-ass men going out there trying to win the Super Bowl. I think that it applies to every single quarterback or every player. You need those big moments. And Steelers they'll have their fair share. Kenny Pickett, if they keep playing the way they did to close out this season, they'll have some chance.
Pickett's good.
I'm not fully bought in yet, but
he's good. You should buy in.
I do think that Mike Tomlin, what he's done with the Steelers over the past 15 years, whatever it's been, is pretty remarkable. No losing seasons.
That's pretty crazy.
Jack, you know how many teams would sign up? Think about the Browns.
No,
think about the Jaguars. Think about the Texans, the Bills before Josh Allen. I mean, no losing seasons for what is it 14 years, 13 years?
I don't know the exact amount. Somewhere around there, yeah. I think it's 15.
And some
right?
Steelers fans wanted him fired.
Yeah, that's outrageous to me.
Yeah.
I've always been a big Tomlin fan.
All right,
I want to shout out Brookside basketball too. 2-1, got our second dub today.
Yeah, congrats to Jack's team. Hopefully Andrew keeps winning, and we will see you with our playoff preview. Lots of fun stuff coming up. Some big football games, and team in Minneapolis is trying to have a dream come true.
I love the Vikings -3.
We'll see you for the playoff preview. Thanks, Ziggy. Thanks, Zach, Jack, for Paul Farrington. We'll see you next time.